In the last episode, Eleanor Marks received a chilling phone call from her escaped son, Mason, who warned her that turning him in only lit the match. As fear gripped the town of Ashfield, Detective Warren Pierce followed an anonymous tip to the abandoned tannery, site of the first disappearance linked to the case. Meanwhile, a black SUV watched Eleanor's home. When it drove off, it left behind a battered teddy bear, one belonging to her other child. A child she believed dead. A tag read, "Guess who's coming home too?" Because Mason wasn't the only monster Eleanor had raised. And the other one? Was even worse. Ashfield had always buried its secrets deep. But the dead don't stay buried forever. The teddy bear sat in Eleanor's lap as she trembled on the living room floor. Her knuckles were white around the grip of the pistol. She hadn't moved in 20 minutes. Couldn't. Not since she'd seen that tag. Guess who's coming home too? There had been no funeral. No body. Just a closed casket and a town willing to forget. She whispered her daughter's name like a prayer she was afraid to say out loud. Isabel? 22 years ago, Isabel Marks had vanished during a late autumn thunderstorm. Eleanor had come home to find the back door wide open, muddy footprints on the floor, and Mason, 6 years old, quiet as ever, sitting at the kitchen table eating cereal. He didn't say a word. Didn't cry. Didn't ask where his sister went. Everyone told Eleanor it had to be a stranger. That maybe the girl had wandered off. But Eleanor knew better. She'd seen the bruises, the jealousy, the darkness already blooming in her son. Back then she'd begged the town to look deeper, to ask the hard questions. But Ashfield didn't want ugly truths, and neither did Eleanor. So she buried the memory. She buried her daughter. And for 22 years she tried to pretend that Mason had acted alone. Now, staring into the dead glass eyes of a teddy bear from another life, she realized something horrifying. Isabel never died. And she might have grown up just like her brother. Across town, Detective Pierce moved slowly through the dark halls of the tannery. The word "Welcome Home" still dripped blood-red down the wall behind him. He felt it in his gut, a pressure, an awareness, like the building itself was watching him. His flashlight passed over rusted hooks, flaking metal stairs, and then a flicker. Movement in the corner of his eye. He turned fast. Nothing. Silence. Just the hum of his own breath and the distant groan of the old building settling. Then a sound. A voice. Soft. Feminine. Singing. A lullaby. He moved toward it, gun drawn, pulse pounding in his neck. The voice echoed down a side corridor lined with old office doors and broken windows. "Sleep, my child, and peace attend thee." He found the source, an old cassette recorder sitting in the middle of the hallway. He reached for it. Click. The door behind him slammed shut. Pierce spun, just in time to see a figure through the cracked glass. A blur of motion, long black hair, and eyes that didn't blink. "Police. Don't move." But by the time he kicked open the door, the hallway was empty. Only the cassette tape kept playing, looping the lullaby. He picked it up, replaying the moment in his mind. Whoever it was, female, fast, agile, had been watching him, luring him. This wasn't Mason. This was someone else. Someone smarter. And suddenly a terrible thought struck him. What if Mason wasn't the one orchestrating this chaos anymore? What if he was just a pawn? That night, Eleanor drove. She didn't remember grabbing her keys or the pistol or the teddy bear. She just remembered her hands shaking on the wheel as she drove toward the one place she swore she'd never return to, the old Marks family cabin. They hadn't been there since the year Isabel vanished. It was boarded up, half-eaten by ivy miles from the nearest neighbor. Perfect for hiding or remembering. As she turned down the gravel path, her headlights caught movement near the front steps. A figure stood there, waiting. Not Mason. Smaller, slimmer. A woman. As Eleanor stepped out, the woman didn't move. "Isabel?" Eleanor whispered, her voice cracking like old wood. The woman stepped forward. Her face was shadowed beneath a hood, but Eleanor could see the jawline. The posture. Something unmistakable. "You left me," the woman said, voice low and shaking. Eleanor staggered. I thought you were dead?" The woman tilted her head. "No. Just forgotten." Eleanor reached out. "Isabel, please?" But the woman stepped back. "You don't get to say my name," she hissed. "Not after what you let happen. Not after you stayed with him." Tears ran down Eleanor's cheeks. "I didn't know." "You knew enough." Isabel's voice cracked. "You knew he was sick. You knew he hurt things. Animals. Me. But you looked the other way." Eleanor's knees buckled as memory slammed into her. Bruises explained away, nightmares dismissed, apologies whispered too late. I thought he killed you, Eleanor sobbed. I thought I lost you. I was lost, Isabel snapped. Until someone found me. The sentence hit like a slap. Eleanor's blood went cold. Who? Behind Isabel, a second figure emerged from the trees. Mason. Smiling. They always thought I was the worst one, Mason said, stepping into the light. But I was just the beginning. Detective Pierce tore through the files that night back at the station. He'd been trying to trace Mason's movements, but now he had a new name to search. A new face to consider. Isabel Marks. There was no death certificate. No solid timeline. Just a child who vanished and a family that quietly unraveled. Then something strange. Pierce found a file flagged under a different name, Isla Martin. A Jane Doe from a psychiatric facility in Idaho who'd escaped 15 years ago. She was 16. Dark hair. Unidentified. But a DNA test, never processed, sat in the archives. He opened the result. Match. 99.9%. Relative, Eleanor Marks. His heart slammed in his chest. Isabel had survived. And she had been lost to the system, until someone brought her back. Mason. But why now? Why resurface now? Then Pierce saw the last page of the report. A scribbled psychologist's note. Subject displays intense emotional dependency on the brother. Shared delusions, dissociative identity potential. Violent ideation. Fixation on themes of retribution. Pierce picked up the phone and dialed Eleanor. No answer. He cursed, grabbed his gun, and bolted for his car. If Mason and Isabel were together again, it wasn't just a reunion. It was a reckoning. Back at the cabin, Eleanor tried to steady her breath. You don't have to do this, she whispered to her children. But Isabel stepped closer, eyes glinting with something feral. It's not about have to, Mama. It's about justice. Mason leaned against the cabin post, arms folded. We gave them a chance, didn't we, Izzy? Gave Ashfield time to come clean. But all they ever did was bury the truth. Isabel nodded. So now we dig it up. Eleanor's voice shook. You're planning something. Oh, Mama. Mason grinned, stepping into the moonlight. We already started. He held up a phone. On the screen was a video feed, live. It showed Ashfield's town hall. Explosives. Timers. Red numbers counting down. Eleanor screamed. No, no, please. Mason tilted his head. Ashfield made us monsters. Now we'll show them what monsters really do. Eleanor Marks confronted her past when her presumed dead daughter, Isabel, reappeared alongside her brother, Mason. The siblings, united by shared trauma and a thirst for retribution, revealed a chilling plan to destroy Ashfield's town hall as vengeance for the town's neglect and the pain it inflicted upon them. As a live video feed showed explosives ticking down, Eleanor stood between her children and the town they aimed to punish. Ashfield's reckoning. The cold night air hung heavy as Eleanor stood frozen, the glow from Mason's phone illuminating the countdown. 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Please, Eleanor's voice trembled, eyes locked on her children. This isn't the way. Isabel's gaze was steely. They turned a blind eye, Mother. To Mason. To me. They let us suffer. Mason nodded, his expression unreadable. Ashfield needs to feel what we felt. Eleanor stepped closer, desperation in her voice. And what about the innocent? The children? The families? Do they deserve this? Isabel hesitated, a flicker of doubt crossing her face. Suddenly, headlights pierced the darkness. Detective Warren Pierce's car screeched to a halt. He emerged, weapon drawn. Step away from the phone, he commanded. Mason smirked, holding the device higher. Too late, Detective. Pierce's eyes darted to Eleanor. What's the code? How do we stop it? Eleanor's mind raced. Memories flooded back. Isabel's favorite lullaby, the one she used to hum as a child. Isabel, Eleanor whispered, do you remember the song I used to sing to you? Isabel's eyes softened. Sleep, my child, and peace attend thee. Eleanor nodded, tears streaming down her face. That's the code, isn't it? The song. It's always been our connection. Isabel's hands trembled. Mason looked confused. What are you doing? Isabel stepped forward, entering the code into the phone. The countdown halted at 3 seconds. Silence enveloped the forest. Mason's face contorted in rage. You betrayed me. Isabel turned to him, pain in her eyes. No, Mason. I saved you. Pierce moved swiftly, securing Mason in handcuffs. It's over. Epilogue. Ashfield awoke to news of the averted tragedy. The town, once shrouded in denial, began to confront its past. Memorials were held for the victims, and initiatives were launched to support mental health and abuse survivors. Eleanor visited Isabel in a rehabilitation center, their relationship slowly mending. "I'm sorry," Eleanor whispered during one visit. Isabel squeezed her hand. "We're healing together." Mason faced trial, his actions laid bare for the world to see. Justice was served not just in the courtroom, but in the hearts of those who chose to acknowledge the pain and work towards healing. Subscribe for more chilling true crime videos.